Good morning, muscle mommies and no, we're in the afternoon actually. Good afternoon, muscle mommies and muscle daddies. Thank you for tuning in today. I want to start with something that I've been thinking about recently. It's been on my mind, and it's about gaining weight. I'm going to give you tiny background. I used to hate my body, like extremely uncomfortable in my skin at all times. I did the yo-yo dieting, I did all those fad diets. I convinced myself that if I was skinnier, I'd be prettier, life would be better. The people who were quote unquote skinnier than me had a better life. They were more confident than me. And I was always weighing myself and using the number on the scale to determine my worth. So recently, I stepped on the scale. And the reason why I stepped on the scale, which I don't step on the scale, that's just, I don't do that. The only time I step on the scale is if I'm getting measured for the army, if I'm at the doctor, or I stepped on it when I came back from advance camp because I wanted to see how much water weight I lost. I was just curious because I had been in the field for like 14 days. Basically, what's happening is I'm going to Bullock and they'll send you home if you don't pass height and weight and the tape test. So the height and weight restrictions are extremely like not obtainable. Not obtainable for me. They're not obtainable for a lot of people. So they use this tape test where they measure your waist. And it's just kind of actually it's not even your waist, it's by your belly button, which is even worse. So that basically determines the body fat percentage, but if you get a certain score at each event on the fitness test, then that doesn't matter. But they constantly tell you in emails like you will be sent home from Bullock, which stands for Basic Officer Leadership Course. You will be sent home, and everyone needs to make sure that they can make height and weight before they go. So I stepped on the scale and I weighed 180. I have never weighed 180. To my knowledge, I don't think I've ever weighed 180. Usually, I've seen like 175. I don't think I've ever seen 180. And I remember stepping on it being like, wow. I was just kind of shocked. When I was younger, I remember weighing like 118 and I was like freaking out over it. And then I also remember when I was maybe like 130. And it's interesting because as you become a woman, you're gaining weight. And it's funny because I was at my most insecure in those moments when I was at my tiniest body. I think a lot of us don't really accept our body when we become women because we're like, look at how skinny I was when I was younger. Look at what my body looked like before this. What happened? And it's like, okay, life happened. And you're also a woman now. Our bodies are vessels, and they are the things that literally allow us to do every single thing that we do in a day. And I mean, even postpartum for people, and this is going to happen to me eventually, is like your body changes after pregnancy and there's nothing you can do about it. Your body wrinkles as it ages and there's nothing we can do about it. I mean, nothing that's not surgical or Botox, whatever, that we can do about it. And it's like this thing where I think we all think we're headed for doom because the older we grow, the more gray hairs we're going to get, the less beautiful we're going to get, the more wrinkles, the bigger we're going to get. And we're all just trying so hard to be like, that's not going to be me. That's not going to be me. I'm going to be able to delay it. I'm going to be able to do anti-aging shit. And I'm that, don't worry, like, I got this. And then we're trying to hold the reins so tightly of how much we weigh and what we look like. We're not even allowing ourselves to just be and use our bodies and accept our bodies the way they are now. And we're just going to look back all one day and be like, what the fuck was I thinking? The same way we look back at our bodies when we were in our teenage years, being like, oh my God, I was so tiny and thin. Why did I think I was so much bigger than that? I mean, that's going to be us. That's literally going to be us one day. We're going to be looking back at our skin and everything and be like, I can't believe I was so insecure then about that. So, anyways, back to my scale. So I step on the scale and I weigh 180. I'm like, wow, that's the most I've ever weighed. And I was a little confused, and I was confused scientifically because I'm training for a marathon. I'm doing the most cardio in my life ever, and yet I'm at the biggest number on the scale. And I always say the scale doesn't determine your worth. But the scale also doesn't determine a lot of things that we think it determines. We assume if we're eating, in quotes, well or healthy, that we are going to get thinner. We assume the more cardio we're doing, we're going to get thinner. We assume the more active we are, we're going to get thinner. And that's just not true. Because here I am weightlifting and running, and body composition is huge. I was always like, I was 167 for a while. And I remember me being 167, then I started like a huge weightlifting journey and I was still 167, but my body looked completely different. So that's all like body composition and how it changes and how we turn fat into muscle. But here I am mainly focusing on cardio and I'm thinking, why do I weigh the most I've ever weighed? And I really felt validated when I started doing accidental research. I was really just researching fueling for runs, and the girl, I'm going to link her episode, she starts talking about eating, and it's very possible people are gaining weight while they're training for a marathon. And that's when I kind of realized, oh, okay, like this is supposed to happen. And sometimes there isn't a reason for us gaining weight. And sometimes in this case scenario, I was seeing something as like, okay, this is supposed to happen. But that's not the case for everybody. Some people may still be wondering, I don't understand what happened. I don't understand why I gained weight. So with marathon training, she talks about how you need to fuel. You know, you need your desserts, you need your salt, you need your carbs. And she brings up this beautiful metaphor about how if you're building a house, but the things you're building the house with, all the supplies, are your protein, okay? Your building blocks. The workers, the contractors that are putting it all together are your carbs. And so if you don't have both of them, carbs and protein and fat and all the nutrients, but if you don't have them with each other, then you're just going to have a bunch of supplies and no house built. So we sometimes assume, okay, I could just eat a lot of protein, I'm going to get really strong. But if we're not compensating by eating a lot of carbs and carb loading before runs and everything, we're not actually going to be building up our muscles and we're not going to be able to repair them. If we're not getting enough sleep, the little people inside us that are repairing our muscles as we're sleeping and our brain, it's not going to happen. So we always assume, okay, if I just grind really hard, then I should weigh less. Me actually weighing more right now is what's helping me with my runs, which I actually realized that I've been under fueling for my runs. And listening to this woman speak really validated the part of me that I didn't even know needed validation, that like I should be eating more. I have never felt like I needed to be eating more. As far as I am from when I started healing my body image to now, I am so far in that journey, but I still don't think I've ever thought I need to eat more. I'm always starving. I'm always needing food. So in my head, I'm always hungry. I always want food and I eat a lot. But I'm not eating enough because I feel it in my body when I'm running. I'm not fueling enough. So having the realization of like, I need to intentionally eat more has never been a thing I've ever done. I've never wanted to intentionally eat more. Yes, I intentionally will fuel myself up for a day at work or a day doing something and I want to eat, but I don't ever think like I need to eat as much as I can. I need to eat a ton of carbs right now. I need to keep eating this, and that in order to fuel for a long run tomorrow. I don't really push myself past those limits because in my head, kind of subconsciously thought less is better. I don't think I actually could say that out loud, like less is better, but I think my mind has always just assumed, yeah, less is better. You know, you're eating cookies and you're like, all right, yeah, I think this should be enough for me. I think I shouldn't have any more than this. Okay, I've had a lunch. I don't need more on top of this. I was a cheerleader in high school and I was coming home really, really hungry. Or even now, I'll need to eat much earlier than my parents need to eat. And I will literally eat 2 dinners if I want to. And I never intentionally thought I need to eat more until now. And giving myself the subconscious, like almost like that subconscious voice that has been making the decisions my whole life, now like a little bit of like a, yeah, fuck off. We need to eat more. Like, you're not supposed to be here, subconscious voice. Like, get out. It's felt so freeing. Like, the fact that I'm going to the kitchen being like, I need to eat more is something I never thought I would really be doing. I just don't think we want to admit to ourselves sometimes that we want to eat more. You know, I think a lot of times when we're with people and we want to eat more than they want to eat, we always have to say something about it. We always have to joke about it. It always has to be something that's brought up so we can feel less bad about ourselves. So that when we say, I want more of this, I'm going to keep eating this, and that, we feel like we need to make a joke about it, or it needs to be mentioned before somebody else mentions it to you, because you want to show everyone like, don't worry, whatever you're thinking, I'm already thinking it, I'm just going to say it now out loud. Which shouldn't be the case. I think some of it has to be forceful too with running. Like, there's going to be times where you really don't want to be eating all the carbs you're eating because you're just so full, but if it's something that you need and it's going to help you, then you got to do it. You know, there's times where you're probably not going to want to eat in the morning before work, but you have to do it to, you know, start your metabolism, get your blood sugar going. Like, there's things that I think we just have to sometimes force ourselves to do because we know they're good for us. It takes, I think, getting into that subconscious of like, all right, the goal is not to eat less in a day. The goal is to eat more in a day so we can get more energy. She's also talking about on this podcast how people say like, oh, here's a low calorie diet, and everybody's like, oh my god, a low calorie diet, like this seems so good. And calories are energy. So she was like, if you just replace the word, nobody would want to go on the fucking diet. A low energy diet. Who would want to go on that? Because when you're eating less calories, you have less energy. So who would want to go on a low energy diet? Nobody. But then when you say a high calorie diet, people are like, oh my God, too many calories. But then when you say a high energy diet, everyone's like, oh, I want that. I want to have a lot of energy. And that's what I want. I want a lot of energy. I think it's also hard cooking yourself meals. Like, even now, I've just been podcasting for so long that, like, I should be eating a meal right now. And I'm just, like, being lazy about it. I don't want to get up and go cook something. And that's where I think eating can become really difficult. Like, whether it's at work and meal prepping for lunchtime, or if it's forcing yourself to eat breakfast in the morning, it's extremely difficult. And sometimes it may feel easier just to let yourself get to the starving point and wait till your body is like dying for food for you to go to the kitchen and actually make something. It shouldn't be that way. But yeah, me stepping on the scale for army purposes actually ended up helping me because it presented me with a little bit of a challenge of like, okay, you just saw a number and now you could either analyze this number and tell yourself this isn't good, or you can actually validate this number and know that you are an athlete fueling and training for something. This is what should be happening. And now that this training is kicking in a lot more, it's much more important for me to be fueling and being able to tell myself this needs to happen. And it makes me feel more empowered as an athlete to be eating for those purposes. Like a few times recently, I've looked at myself naked in the mirror in the past like week, and I literally have been like, wow. Like, this body is a fucking weapon. Like, I'm not even kidding you. And I don't always have that. I do love my body. I'm comfortable in my skin. But there's not that many times recently where I'm looking at my body and I'm thinking what I would say to my friend when I look at her body. Like, when I look at my friends, I'm literally like, holy shit, you guys are fucking gorgeous. Like, you guys look amazing and awesome. I just think that all the time. Whether they're gaining weight or losing weight, to me, it's their body is their body. To me, like, they're always beautiful. I don't see them as like more beautiful when they lose weight or more beautiful when they get stronger, whatever it is. Like, to me, I'm just like, we are so fucking beautiful. Like, women's bodies are just like, oh my God, so gorgeous. And so I've just looked in the mirror the other day and I was like, wow, like, holy shit. Like, I look like my body's a fucking vessel. Like, this body, and I was really just like seeing everything as it was. It almost looked like, it felt like I was looking at like a sculpture. And I literally was like, holy shit, like, this body does a lot for me. And it wasn't just an admiration of the physical look of it, but it was like I felt it. Like, I felt the confidence. And like, this body has been getting me through training. Like, I am so grateful for this body I'm in. I looked like a machine. I looked like fucking muscle mommy. It was like, oh my God. And it's really nice, which is something that, like, when I was younger and I looked really, really strong in the mirror because I had broad shoulders, whatever it is, I was just like, oh my God, I need to like get out of this body and shrink because this is so uncomfortable to even look at. And now I'm just like, wow, damn. This is what I've kind of been wanting to talk about because I think we can all struggle with this of seeing our bodies change and always trying to look for a reason for it. And, you know, maybe there isn't a reason for it and we just have to accept our body the way it is. And if you are doing things that make you feel good, and I'm not saying like temporarily feel good, like, yes, there's always going to be better ways to make choices of how we fuel ourselves. But if you feel good about your habits, and not just your eating habits, your sleeping habits, your mental health status, if you feel good about all of those things, then you're on the right track. You're doing the right thing. If you're training, you feel good during your training, then you're doing the right thing. Don't let the number on the scale ruin the energy that you feel. Because if you feel good, you feel strong, then be proud of it. The number is not supposed to determine how you feel. You determine how you feel. I've been feeling like I've been under fueling for workouts. I feel it when I work out. So that's my cue to eat more. If I used the scale to determine that, I would have been eating less right now, and workouts would have sucked even more. try to look into what other factors are going on in your life and fix those things. Don't try to fix the number on the scale. Don't try to fix it to a number you think is valid in your mind. Think about how you feel inside. Do you feel like you can use more energy? Do you feel weak when you're working out? Do you feel like you're always tired? Are you not sleeping well? That's what we should be thinking about, not what the scale makes us feel. How do we feel? The scale doesn't reflect that. That's all I want to talk about today. Let's all take an inhale and an exhale together. This time we're going to breathe in through our stomach. And then once we breathe into our stomach, we're going to breathe into our chest. So it's going to go inhale through our stomach, then our chest, and then exhale out. Then as you're breathing in, you're expanding your stomach, and then you're going to breathe in through your chest. So you're kind of thinking of like breathing up. So inhale, expand that stomach. Now inhale through your chest. So it kind of brings your chest up, and then exhale. Okay. Thank you guys for tuning in. I wish I had my belly out this episode more. Man, whatever. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you guys want to check out my Amazon storefront where I put my podcasting supplies in there. I have my favorite books. I got all the Army must-haves for the field, and my Muscle Mommy tees are out on musclemommy.store.com. Follow me on my Instagram, the Muscle Mommy Mindset, and Miss_Swole Shady. Everything is linked to my bio. Go check it out. And thank you guys for coming to this episode.